What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, looks like we did get that Nintendo Direct announced for this week, except it's not really the Direct that people were hoping to see. No, instead, we'll have a deep dive into Nintendo's next big release for the Switch 2, and we'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about Borderlands 4, as there's been a lot of commotion around this title with the idea of maybe an $80 price tag being explored, but the pricing has now been revealed, so we'll see exactly where that one falls. And Death Stranding 2, it's out in less than 2 weeks, and I'm very excited for it because it does look like Kojima is going full Kojima with this one. In fact, we even have a quote now that really proves that, and we'll go over that as well. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button or link in the description down below. And we're gonna start today with Gex Trilogy. I know what you're thinking right now. Wait a minute, is he starting the show off with Gex Trilogy because MVG is a programmer on it? It's a great question. But first, let's take a look at the Metacritic scores here. Currently sitting at a 74. Now, that's on 4 reviews on the PS5. It's not a ton of reviews out there, but got PlayStation Lifestyle. It says the Gex Trilogy lives up to its name and brings all 3 Gex games to modern consoles. So there you go. It does. It's Gex Trilogy. It's 3 Gex games. It does bring them to the PlayStation, the Switch. So there you go. Look, it's modern consoles there. If we go to the other end of the spectrum, though, Checkpoint Gaming says the Gex Trilogy won't convert new fans, but for those raised on tail whips and TV parodies, it's a nostalgia-packed return. A solid, if safe, remaster that could have done more, but still lets Gex channel surf once more with style. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If you have nostalgia for these games, you might look at this and go, okay, that's worth the $30 right now to pick that up. And yes, all 3 of them are there, right? So, for that sense, yes. But I fully understand. You look at the Gex games, not the greatest platformers out there, sure. So there it is, though. It's out now. It's $30, so check it out, especially if you're someone who remembers Gex at least somewhat fondly from back in the day. Also, it looks like we may have had a future PlayStation Plus premium title leak out through a listing, which we can see this posted up. This was noted by Gamatsu over on X, saying Legacy of Kain Defiance, that on the PS2, has been rated for PS5 and PS4 in Taiwan, likely dropping as part of the PlayStation Plus Classics catalog. Worth noting that I think Wally, I feel like that was rated forever ago and it's still not out. So this could be something that we don't see for months and months. It could be something towards the end of this year. I've seen some say, oh, that'd be cool right around that October Halloween time period. But I mean, we have Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver of 1 and 2 that got the remaster treatment, right? So this kind of just following up on that, as it's a direct sequel to Soul Reaver 2. It came out in 2000, right at the end of 2003, and it just works into, I would say, just their PS2 library, which continues to grow, but it is growing slowly, I'll say. These months where we get one game in that premium classics catalog is kind of a bit of a letdown, to be honest. It's fun when they kind of explore some weird games, but it's not great when it's just one title. So this would be nice to maybe accompany some of the games that they've already announced that are going to be appearing throughout the summer. Otherwise, though, yeah, maybe October, November, sometime to close out the year with this kind of a PS2 release would at least be one of the better ones they could do. Oh, and we have more reassurance from Ubisoft around Prince of Persia, which you can see this posted up. This is over on their official account saying, yep, we're still deep in the game, exploring, building, and ensuring the sands move with purpose. This game is being crafted by a team that truly cares, and they're pouring their hearts and a lot of coffee into every step. Thank you for sticking with us. So they also go on to put over the Rogue Prince of Persia that's out, I guess, now, so you can check that out if you want. Look, my eyes right now are locked in on Prince of Persia, Sands of Time Remake. When they first showed it, yes, it was not great necessarily, but I am glad that instead of going, well, that's it, we're canceling it, they brought it back in-house and they're working with, I would say, just one of their more premier studios behind it, just to make sure Prince of Persia gets its best shot, really. With this kind of a game, Sands of Time, there are many people who remember it very fondly from back in the PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation, myself included. So I would like to see this get the care and attention that it appears that they're pouring into it. It's just funny that, I mean, it's Ubisoft, they kind of have to go, hey guys, we're still working on it. Don't worry. It's tells you all you need to know about modern Ubisoft. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with the Nintendo Direct that is scheduled to air tomorrow on Wednesday. And I kind of assumed there would be a Direct. I will admit I wasn't thinking, oh, they're absolutely going to do a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct in the middle of June. If anything, I figure maybe we're 2 weeks out. Like right at the start of July, they do that and they really show off the game a bit more. Seems like maybe they want to get it even a bit further out ahead of this. But either way, we can see this posted up. This is over on their official X account. Where they say tune in at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern on June 18th for a live streamed Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct presentation featuring roughly 15 minutes of information about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 game. So, I've already been sold on Donkey Kong Bonanza for two reasons. One, I think it's interesting some of the stuff they're doing with the destructible environments and the idea of a 3 Donkey Kong game, which we haven't had one since the Nintendo 64 days with Donkey Kong 64. I'm just interested to see where they go with it. And then, again, whispers about the idea of, parts of the Mario Odyssey team worked on this. It's a lot of creativity, I'm sure. What they've shown so far, I think, is promising, but some who have played it at these different demo events were like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, you're breaking stuff up. It's a fun gimmick or mechanic, but I didn't really see what else they were going to do with it with that mechanic involved, right? So that's the thing is we kind of went into Mario Kart World, I should say, thinking there was something really big there. Like, okay, it's $80. There's something to this free roam. And they showed free roam, but it didn't wow anyone necessarily. And we kind of came away from it like, it's Mario Kart. That's cool. This is, I think, an opportunity for them to really show off some of the plans they have with that destructible mechanic for the environments around DK. And that's what I hope coming out of this that we end up getting. Still, though, the other part is not a ton of Switch 2 games ahead of us right now that are dated, specific Switch 2 games. Pokemon Legends ZA is also a Switch 1 game, technically Metroid Prime 4 whenever that gets dated. This is a game that they said is not capable of running on the Switch 1. So, okay, let's go ahead and wow us. We'll see what we have here tomorrow in the morning. I'll keep an eye out, of course, take notes, and we'll go over it in the following news wave. The other part of this, obviously, is this our Direct? Is this the Direct that we're going to see here for the summer from Nintendo? I don't think so, but I also don't think it's impossible that maybe in terms of big first-party showings, this is it. See, I think it's possible that there is a partner Direct that could happen, where it's like third parties that get to just announce a lot of their stuff for the Switch 2, because there is obviously pent-up demand for that, considering Microsoft has mentioned it. We're about to talk about Borderlands 4 here soon with the release dates that's floating around and many others, so maybe that's the strategy. Get Donkey Kong Bonanza front and center with something like this, and then roll into a partner Direct where you can show off third-party games that will more so take advantage of the Switch 2 versus when they would, of course, be presenting for Switch 1 and kind of show more compromised versions of the game. What can they get out of the Switch 2? That's sort of what I'm hoping to see. Or who knows, maybe just a full-on Nintendo Direct. But for now, we're looking at Donkey Kong Bonanza set up for tomorrow, about 15 minutes to show it off. Next up, let's talk about Borderlands 4, which went through it with Randy Pitchford, of course, with his replies on X that not great. Really, again, you don't really just have to say anything. You just kind of walk right past it, especially if you're in a position like he is higher up, where he doesn't really need to fight these battles on social media. Just let the game speak for itself. So, naturally, people, when they saw his reaction, were thinking, whoa, okay, this thing's probably $80. Well, we now have confirmation of the pricing for Borderlands 4, which we can see this is over on their website that went live. They say Borderlands 4 is now available for pre-order on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, and pre-purchase on PC via Steam and Epic Game Store, starting at $69.99. So there it is. It is a $70 game. It is not $80. They also say it will be coming to Switch 2 later in 2025. We'll share more details at a later date. There you go. That's kind of the, again, people like, oh, okay, hold on. Is there a Nintendo Direct here coming up? A partner showcase even? Because you got a lot of these third parties going, we'll get to the announcement for the release date at some point, guys. Don't worry. We're able to share more information. It's like, okay. So if anything, though, it looks like, at least at this point, the Switch 2 version is not going to be there at launch, okay, for the PlayStation, the Xbox Series, and PC later on in September. So maybe this is an October or November release then for Borderlands 4 on the Switch 2 specifically. But naturally, now people are looking around going, wait a minute, was this game always 70? Or did the backlash online have maybe Take-Two, 2K and stuff realize this should be 70. If we make this 80, we might have a problem. Well, if you look at their page, they not only have the standard, they have a deluxe, and then they have like a super deluxe. They still have versions of the game that are incredibly expensive, more than $100. So they're not necessarily adverse to the idea of releasing expensive versions of the game. In this case, though, the floor coming in at 70 seems to be more so celebrated than it would have without Randy Pitchford's comments. So you can kind of look at it either way. Hey, there's good marketing by Randy. His almost 40 chests in his... A magician would have done that, right? So just to be able to get people to be excited about a price point that they would have been really mad at 4 years ago, right when the PS5 was breaking onto the scene there and getting ready for its release. That's just where we are now. It's not 80, it's 70, so we're good. Me personally, I think this game was pretty much going to be 70 across the board, or $70 from the start. I just don't know if they went into it thinking, well, it's definitely going to be $80. I don't also know if Randy Pitchford meant to drum this up and it be a big marketing ploy, but right now it kind of looks that way. So, hey, let me know if you think down below in the comments that the backlash online forced Take-Two and 2K's hand to revert back from the previously planned $80 back down to $70. Next up, let's talk about Death Stranding 2. Guys, we're so close. I'm very excited to play this game. Death Stranding 1 is a game that initially, I was playing and it wasn't clicking with me in the first 10 hours or so. Then I got past that and I'm kind of taking it in and getting more of the story and the characters and the world. And it started to really, really dawn on me that this game is just being different to be different. But there was something unique there, something I've just never seen before. And it ended up being one of my favorite games of that PlayStation 4 generation. So naturally, going into this release, I'm very excited. I'm trying to avoid a lot of the information going around. Even Kojima himself holding these stage events at different places. I'm like, nah, I don't want to see any gameplay. I don't even want to hear about some of the characters at this point. I'm ready to go here at the end of June. But there was one thing that I saw that I just said, that's Kojima. Means we're in for a wild ride. I'll say that as well for Death Stranding 2. We can see this posted up, though. This is an interview with a composer on Death Stranding 2, who has the nickname Woodkid, all right, saying, there's a key moment where we had a discussion, this with Kojima, probably halfway through when we were doing the game, where he came to me and he said, we have a problem. I'm going to be very honest. We have been testing the game with players and the results are too good. They like it too much. That means something is wrong. We have to change something. And he changed stuff in the script and the way some crucial stuff happens in the game because he thought his work was not polarizing and not triggering enough emotions. And he said, if everyone likes it, it means it's mainstream. It means it's conventional. It means it's already pre-digested for people to like it. And I don't want that. I want people to end up liking things they didn't like when they first encountered it. Because that's where you really end up loving something. And that was really a lesson for me. Not doing stuff to please people, but to make them shift a little bit and move them. And I read this quote and I said, that kind of sounds like my experience with Death Stranding 1. That idea of it's just being weird, and I don't really know if the game was even good at that point when I was playing the first 10 hours or so, but then as I got further into it, it just became a good game in front of me. I kind of feel like I'm in for that ride right now with Death Stranding 2, even though I already know what I'm going to get going into it after playing 60 hours or so of the first Death Stranding. It's like, okay, walking simulator, package delivery simulator, yes, but there's so much atmosphere, so much character, so much world building around it. And those still moments of you walking through with the music coming in slowly and quietly, it really is hard to describe, to be honest. Like, you got to play it, and you got to spend more time kind of than you're willing to. But with Death Stranding 2 and hearing this, I'm curious what the people liked a lot and why. It's just so funny that Kojima goes, they like it. I got to change it. They have to not like it. So, hey, I'm excited. I think it's going to review highly, but we'll find out here again in about a week now, actually, from when this video is live for those reviews to go live, and then hopefully I'll be playing it here a few days later before I head off to Too Many Games. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about a Switch 2 restock that I don't really know how to feel about this. You could let me know, because I do believe that if you were someone who went through this, you are not laughing at this one. But let's take a look. This is posted up by GameStop over on their X account saying Switch 2 restocks at GameStop today. Staples not included. So you can see the stapler there. Do not use on box. Find a Switch 2 restock game. Okay, so the good news is, if you are looking for a Switch 2 right now, call up your local GameStop as soon as possible and see if they have one. And I will say we've been seeing Switch 2 restocks frequently, like every other day, I feel like someone's posting that they're getting Switch 2 restocks in, that people are having at least posting that they were able to find a Switch 2 randomly because more of them just came in even while they were at the store. So again, it does seem like Nintendo has pushed a lot out for this initial wave. The thing with GameStop, though, clearly, we went over this, they had that situation they're stapling receipts to the top of the box, and if you've unboxed the Switch 2, you know, the Switch 2 screen, it's right there. So the staples went through, hit the screen. You gotta guess what happened from there when customers turned the system on. I get the idea of trying to make a viral tweet as a social media manager, and look, I didn't get a staple through my screen, so I'm like, okay, I get the reference. Sure, it's kind of funny. If you were someone who did get a staple through the screen, you had to go through a whole process of returning it, or maybe there weren't any there, and you had to return it, get money back, or wait. Yes, not as funny. Still, though, social media, you got to try to make waves, so I get why they went this route. Let me know what you think, though, especially if you're someone who caught a staple to the front of your Switch 2 screen with this kind of advertising for Switch 2 restock. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, which of these first-party Switch 2 games for 2025 are you most excited for? Metroid Prime 4, cross-generation, the one cross-generation title here in the poll. One out, 53%. And you know what? When I look at Metroid Prime 4, it feels like a game that will actually show the system off fully. And what I mean by that is it has 120 FPS support. It has 4K 60 support, right? It has mouse functionality. The visuals look really clean. Looks like it'll adapt nicely to a big 4K display in front of you. So I know Nintendo wants to space out these releases. And look, Donkey Kong Bonanza is number 2 at 32%, then Kirby Air Riders, then Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I know Nintendo's spreading these releases out. I think you could have done with a Metroid Prime 4 and a Mario Kart World on launch day. I don't think it would have been a problem. You have your big single player game that no one's played yet, by the way. It's not like Cyberpunk where some people have played it and like, I'm good. No one's played that, and no one's played Mario Kart World. I feel like they would have been okay to have them both there. And in a sense, Metroid Prime 4 is your cross-gen release. It's for the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. So you also would have given people who weren't able to find a Switch 2 or just weren't able to buy one, afford one, the chance to get the game that you showed them in 2017. Let's just be real here, okay? It's been a long time, and it kind of feels like, is it possible we wait till November for this game? I hope not. Can we just get this game out in August? I'm not one usually to go push these games out as fast as possible. No time to polish or anything. It's like, it got announced in 2017, guys. I mean, it's been like 8 years since its announcement. Let's get moving a little bit here. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Joe, who says, card counterfeiters are going to have a field day trading into GameStop. I did not think of that until I saw this comment. I went, that seems like a disaster waiting to happen, where I assume, you let me know down in the comments if you're someone who's really into really any trading cards that would be somewhat valuable. I'm sure deal with counterfeits. Magic the Gathering, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, of course. Let me know, is there like an entire process? Because I know some are obvious fakes that you can look at and be like, yeah, that's not the typical artwork that would be there. The background. Remember back in the day with Pokemon cards, I went to the beach. This is when it was first a thing. And in the claw machine, they had obvious fake Pokemon cards that you could tell because instead of the regular holographic background, it was just like gold sparkly background behind Blastoise. Like, yeah, that's not the real card. But if you have it close enough, would GameStop take it in on trade? Because some of these cards are worth legit money. And if they can get one over on just the regular senior game advisor, whoever there, who's just working 20 hours a week, that's gonna burn GameStop in the long run. So let me know how good are some of these counterfeits right now in these more popular card games, and is it possible that one could slip through at the trade counter for GameStop? And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card. Or maybe you wanted to hear more about how Nintendo seems to be banning some Switch 2 systems and exactly why that is. I'll leave it in a video right below it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.